With the introduction of the 16E, I think it's finally safe to say that compact phones are finally dead. This isn't a compact phone, and if you're like me and you use the 12 or 13 mini, this by far was the best phone. I know we're not happy, but what you really have to realize is that with the 12 and 13 mini, Apple really gave the compact phone a good fighting chance. I mean, now looking back at it, this is 3 years dated, right? Doesn't have the best camera anymore, but at the time it had the camera system of the 12 Pro Max. And I just gotta say, I absolutely love this. And when I went to pick this up to do this video and just play around with the 13 mini once again, I couldn't help but feel so refreshed. But as mad as we might be, what we have to realize is that the 16E is basically going to be our next option, regardless of how we feel about the mini lineup. The 2-week return period is done, and I still have this device, which means I will be keeping it as my main device. You see a little backstory, 13 mini, I had it for 3 years, finally ended up switching to the 16 Pro, which I'll link the video of it somewhere up here. But then the iPhone 16e came out, and like I do with all the other iPhones, I wanted to give this a try, and I got that same refreshing feeling that I got from playing around with the 13 mini or the 12 mini or the iPhone SE. You get the idea. This was lightweight. It had a single camera. I know this isn't the most popular opinion. It's missing quite a lot. But the thing is that in my thoughts and impressions video of this phone, I said, this is like the small popcorn at the movie theater. It's priced pretty high at an entry point, right? And the medium and large are going to look more valuable, and most people buy those, but the small is just enough. And this is very much so like the 13 mini in the sense that the small popcorn at the movie theater is more than enough for majority of the people. Now, real quickly, I gotta pause to give a huge thanks to Magbak for continuously supporting me and sponsoring this portion of the video. This is their classic case for the iPhone 16 Pro. They've got a bunch of options available. This has a very nice soft touch finish, so a good comparison is if you've used an Apple silicone case or a good silicone case, that's what this feels like. This will give you great drop protection, but one of the best things about Magbak's cases and products is the magnets inside of them. This is a car mount, and yeah, this is not going anywhere. And also, if you've been on this channel, you've seen my personal favorite product of theirs, which is the Magbak wallet. And again, great magnets, great functionality. Now, the other cool thing about Magbak is their own tech. So apart from MagSafe, they'll give you a mag stick with the purchase of a case, and this you can apply literally anywhere there's a flat surface, and it will stick to these portions inside of the case. So that's where the Magbak magnets are. And not only that, this will also stick to any metal surface. So let's say you're at the gym and you need to prop up your phone real quick, you can do that as well. I love Magbak's products, and they make for a great sponsor because of that reason alone. Thank you again to Magbak for sponsoring this video. Now back to the video you're watching. Many years ago, I had a Mazda Miata, and you know, what I loved about that car was it was just so much fun. I had bought it for like 8,000 bucks, and one day I'm going on the highway, I have the top down, I could feel the cool summer breeze blowing, and right up next to me pulls up a BMW Z4. If you don't know, then that is also a convertible, but it's much more luxurious, right? It's got more bells and whistles. And for some reason in that moment, I looked over and I thought to myself, I was like, you know what? Both of us right now are having the same experience. Meaning, in terms of having our tops down and the wind blowing in our hair and listening to our music. Sure, he might have a comfier seat than mine, or his car might have more power and be able to do a lot more. But right now, in this moment, going 60, 65 miles per hour on the highway, we're both experiencing the same thing. And I relate that to the 16E because if you put this up against something like the 16 Pro that I've been using last couple of months, the 16 Pro has the 3 cameras. It has all the bells and whistles. got this feature and that feature. But both of these iPhones have the same experience. They have the iPhone experience. And that's what this is, right? If you're looking for the iPhone experience and you don't care about having this thing and that thing, no doubt I was really mad at Apple not having MagSafe, but Apple does their thing, right? Apple does their weird things that they do with a lot of different products. They put the power button on the Mac Mini at the bottom. They put the USB port of the Magic Mouse at the bottom. So whenever you have to charge it, you got to flip it over. They do weird stuff like this. But if you add a MagSafe case like I've done for $7, you can enjoy all the MagSafe accessories and everything, and you'll be good to go. But you will have that same bare bones iPhone experience. You have CarPlay, you've got AirDrop, you've got standby mode, you've got everything that you need in an iPhone. And then on top of that, you've got wonderful battery life, which by the way is something I've really enjoyed. You know how everyone is complaining about the 7.5 watt charging and the fact that it doesn't do fast wireless charging? Well, maybe that would matter if you actually had to charge the phone. You don't need to charge this all day. You literally just go about your day and you kind of just forget the fact that you need to charge a phone. Now, one thing I noticed is that with Apple's new C1 modem, it is very efficient when you're out and about. For example, if I'm out with both phones, the 16 Pro and the 16e, what I noticed right away is that this one would drain faster when I was on the move and on 5G networks, whereas this wouldn't do that. Also, whenever I use hotspot on this to give a network connection to my iPad Pro, this always gets really, really warm compared to this one that doesn't. So that has to be the efficiency of the C1 modem, and I, for one, can't wait until it comes to more devices in the future, along with the battery tech. Now, when it comes to camera, on the 13 mini, I had the ultra wide, then on the 16 Pro, obviously you have the three cameras, but I always use the wide lens. That's the one that's always my go-to. I never like using the 5x zoom on the iPhone 16 Pro unless I'm specifically testing it. On this, I always use the wide lens. And this, obviously, the 16e has only a wide lens. And it does a great job. It actually has really good quality. So with the camera, just because you have three cameras on a pro phone doesn't make you a good photographer. In order to utilize a camera, it really matters on your skill. I mean, looking at the video clips that you see right now, these are shot with the iPhone 16e. And to me, they look perfectly fine. I'm not somebody that's like zooming into photos and looking at every corner to see if it's pixelated or not and which one has more clarity. I just take a photo and I look at it. And even when I did comparisons between the 16 Pro and the 16e, it looked great to me. So the camera, it's not like it's bad. So if you buy this phone, it's not like all of a sudden just because you have one camera, you don't have a good camera. The next thing I want to touch on is the display. So if you are coming from a 13 mini, the display obviously is bigger, but in terms of quality and outdoor brightness, both of them are same. If I go out and I'm using this, I've never had any kind of issue using this device outdoors. So you shouldn't have it. Matter of fact, I've enjoyed having a larger display, especially when looking at coming from the 13 mini. Now, if you compare it to the Pro lineup, then obviously on the 16 Pro, I had a 6.3-inch display. It had ProMotion, but it's just a lot heavier. So it's really going to be up to you. But if you look at this, I know people complain about the price, that why is it $599, but you can literally buy the iPhone 16e, the AirPods 4, and an Apple Watch SE, and you've spent the same amount that someone will for one iPhone 16 Pro. So I still think it has great value. Now, in terms of performance, I've had no issues. Like, is this a phone that's going to be bogged down in any way? Is it going to hinder your ability to do anything? No, honestly, you don't need pro level performance unless you are a truly pro user. So you don't really need to worry about that. If you're just using your phone as a phone, right, then you are good to go. You're not going to have any issues. I tested this with games too, and even though it has a core less in terms of its GPU, it still runs perfectly fine. No issues whatsoever. So even if you are someone that's going to be using this majority of the time as a phone first, and then, maybe a little bit of light gaming, you're not going to have any issues whatsoever. Real quickly, I want to touch up on Apple Intelligence because you might have heard that a lot of the major features are being delayed until 2026. And I said this very early on that it shouldn't even be a deciding factor because Apple was just trying to push it really hard. I think every company is trying to push AI too hard. I frankly don't even care all that much about it. I've played with Image Playground and I've played with Genmoji, and it's fun for a few minutes, but on a day-to-day basis, is it going to add a ton of functionality into your life? I don't think so. So if you're considering this or any other device that is compatible with Apple Intelligence, that shouldn't be a major deciding factor because it doesn't really add a lot to the device. Also, if you're coming from a device that doesn't have the action button, you're gonna like the addition of the action button. You can still have it do the same action as the mute and ringer switch, but like I've done, you could tie it to different functions, a shortcut. I've done home automation, so it just opens up my home automation folder, which allows me to change the lights in any one of my rooms in the house. Last but not least, I want to leave you with my unpopular opinion, which is that this is a great device. At least it fits what I want out of an iPhone. I upgraded to the 16 Pro from the 13 mini simply because I knew that there was no other route to go, right? But now that I have this and I have that, again, just simple device that works, has a good camera, does everything I need to, but then on top of it has amazing battery life, this is perfect for me. And I really think that if all you're looking for is a good, reliable phone for the next many, many years to come, then the iPhone 16e will work perfect for you. If you want all the bells and whistles of that Roadster that I talked about, then yeah, the Roadster is what you need. But if you just need the experience, the 16e is just enough. Thank you like always for being with me. I really appreciate your time. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have questions, drop them in the comments. And like always, take care of yourself and I will see you in the next video.